What is something that most people don't know? People don't really care that much about you. You worrying how they perceive you. Well, worrying how you perceive them. Also, even if you screw up, at worst you'll be a story in someone's storybook for a while, that guy who ... And it won't even affect your life. And you'll always be some story for someone. Good, bad, neutral. Both ... It can't be prevented. Embrace it and go with it, rather than fighting it. If people want to hurt you, this stops working once you don't allow yourself to be hurt. All easier said than done though. I know from experience at LMAO. Your eyes have a separate immune system from the rest of your body. Why get damaged in such a way that it affects anything other than your eyes? Your regular immune system can attack the damage and will not recognize them, meaning your own body can permanently blind you. What's worse, your body cannot tell the difference between either eye. If one of them gets infected or damaged, your immune system can attack your healthy eye and take away your sight entirely. Not only can you take the square root of a negative number, but mathematics breaks down eventually if you can't. For everyday use, you won't ever need to actually know, but quite a few things are only able to be represented by a number system that includes negative square roots. This is why complex numbers are a thing. The human brain is far better at rationalizing emotional decisions after the fact than it is coming up with rational decisions. Pennsylvania, Centralia, PA. It's a ghost town in Pennsylvania. Somehow they managed to set a coal mine on fire, and it's been burning since 1962. There are still a few people living there apparently. There are noxious fumes venting out of the ground, so the government doesn't allow new people to go there. Ever felt drowsy and fatigued after having a meal? Postprandial somnolence. Org wiki. Postprandial somnolence is the cause set in motion by the parasympathetic nervous system, better known as a food coma. I don't know why, but I really like this little fact and the word parasympathetic, and my cat. Both light roast and dark roast of the same coffee have the same amount of caffeine. Caffeine doesn't roast out of the bean, but dark roast beans are individually lighter than light roast because of moisture loss. So, when you weigh a batch of dark roast, you'll use more beans and thus more caffeine. So you could say dark roast has more caffeine in the cup. Fight anyone who says otherwise. Sodium is not the same thing as salt. Salt's real name is sodium chloride. It is made up of 40 sodium and 60 chloride. Scientists have found no link to eating sugar and becoming hyper. This myth originates from a study in the 70s that removed sugar from one kid's diet and the child's behavior improved. A company called Warner Chappell Music collected licensing fees for use of the song Happy Birthday to You all the way until 2015. That's why characters in movies often sing other songs like For He's a Jolly Good Fellow, and restaurant chains often have their own birthday songs they sing to customers. Pain is a perception of the brain that is trying to make sense of biological, social, and psychological variables. You do have nerves that carry nociceptive information that may indicate harm to an area of the body, and it is up to your brain to decide if you are going to sense pain somewhere. If you get a tooth abscess on the maxillary top arch canine to canine, it needs to be taken care of ASAP. The area is called the triangle of death when it comes to abscess or infections. Source: dental hygienist. Also, apparently, that Reddit posts like these are designed to spread misinformation about various topics. Oh, and that op is very likely an account created for this purpose. It's got only 4 comment karma with 563 post karma, is only 25 days old, and has a very obvious username. An 18-inch pizza is more than 2 12-inch pizzas. And to do the math, the surface area of a circle is pi x r squared. Pi is the constant. 18-inch pizza has a 9 in radius. Or r. 12-inch has 6. 9 squared is 81. 6 squared is 36. 36 by 2 is 72. 81 is greater than 72. Irukandji jellyfish grow only to about 1 cubic centimeter in size, but have an incredibly painful sting. One symptom of the sting is a strong impending sense of doom. Victims have begged their doctor to be killed as they were certain they would die anyways. If you ever get dengue fever, remember that your platelets count drop for 6 or 7 consecutive days with or without any treatment, and then it gradually rises. The only treatment for dengue is lots and lots of fluids and rest. You have a turn indicator in your vehicle to alert others of your lane switching intentions. You are not only allowed but strongly required to use the indicator a few seconds before initiating lane changes and turns. Font describes the variation in style in which something is written: size, italic, bold, all caps, etc. Typeface is the variation in the style of letters Arial, Times New Roman, Comic Sans that most people refer to as fonts. If you have a dental phobia, you can find a dentist that offers medical sedation pills to make it so you can push through the dentist. The dentist is incredibly important for heart health, so don't let anything stop you. Warned Japan prior to each atomic bomb dropping, as in, hey, quit now, or it will be bad. And after the first bomb dropped, basically said, see, we told you, now knock it off or we will do it again. In 1843, a dude in China declared himself to be the younger brother of Jesus and the second son of God. Long story short, religion being religion and China being China, somewhere around 25 million people died. Humans constantly project onto two others their own mindset. So whatever you think and feel about others is typically how you perceive yourself. Additionally, many if not most people struggle with self-awareness. Abraham Lincoln's assassination was not just supposed to be an assassination, had a legit coup attempt that could have restarted the Civil War. 3 other people were supposed to die that night. Battleships in museums on display at a W2 and later cannot start their engines because they have preservative grease inside in case the Navy has to bring the ship back into service. Water doesn't conduct electricity. Edit, cause I should probably explain pure water doesn't conduct electricity. Getting water to that level of purity is relatively costly, however. The way we feel time is closely related to how our attention is wired. If our mind is awake and attentive enough on the present moment, the flow of time will become non-linear. There is an enzyme in aloe vera that breaks up calcium kidney stones. If you get these stones, taking a little aloe vera each day can help you to not get them in the long run. The only way we truly die is by lack of oxygen to the brain. Our declared cause of death is really what made us ultimately lose supply of oxygen to the brain. The only way for squirrels to die by falling is to starve as they fall, as they can escape terminal velocity. Simply put, they cannot take falling damage. The Bow-Wow theory of language, aka the onomatopoeic theory, which states that our imitation of natural sounds is the basis of language development. The only Spanish-speaking country in Africa is Equatorial Guinea. Its capital, Malabo, is on an island slightly northwest of the country's mainland. Over 40 of murders go unsolved, meaning, if you get killed, there's a good chance that the person who killed you will not spend a day in jail. Sperm whales are the loudest animals on Earth. They have reached 230 decibels dB. For reference, a gunshot is usually between 160 and 170 dB. A thing that playing Tetris revealed to me about life: success disappears and mistakes pile up. So clear up your act before it's too late. That you don't have to yell at retail customer service people to get something fixed. If you yell, we're more reluctant to help you. A pigeon will only eat a starburst if you chew it up a little bit first. Just to clarify, chew the starburst, not the pigeon. Lactic acid does not cause the burn in muscle exertion, nor muscle soreness. It's just a fuel source for your muscles. Genus flytraps are native to the Carolinas in the US. Their heads only close a certain amount of times before dying. The only difference between chemistry and biology is life. If it's alive, it's biology. If it's not, it's chemistry. When you get killed by army ants, it's not the poison or biting that kills you. but the invasion of lungs. If your nerve is broken in the wrong way, the nerve will send a pain signal to the brain, and it won't stop. A burial plot is called a graveyard if it's part of a church lot. It's called a cemetery if separate. Everything is made of chemicals, and every single one of them will kill you with a sufficient dose. Most things that people do, if not almost all, are actually not really about you, but about them. The amount of murder, rape, and suicide that happens on cruise ships, most of them unresolved too. A broken clock is right twice a day, but a clock ticking in reverse is correct 4 times a day. The term terrorism was first introduced into language to describe the actions of government. The lubricant produced by the vagina is chemically identical to the slime on shark skin. The highest temperature ever recorded in Alaska and Hawaii is the same, 100 degrees F. Garage door springs. Yeah. Don't touch them. Knew someone who failed at this. Not good. What color socks I wore to work today? I'd bet very few people in the world know that. The Amazon River is over 4,000 miles long and doesn't have any bridges that cross it. That there was a vagina in one of Marilyn Manson's music videos that was aired on TV. If you want to stop and have a chat, you won't die if you move out of the walkway. You can return your shopping cart to a designated area instead of a parking spot. SCUBA is an acronym, standing for self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. If a Reddit question is not NSFW related, and you don't have to mark it NSFW. Freedom doesn't mean you can take others' freedom in the process or inhibit it. The difference between a million and a billion is approximately a billion. You can research if things are true on the internet before sharing them. Mammals pee an average of 22 seconds. No matter if mouse or elephant. Going to college is not the predictor of success people think it is. Sweden has more than 260,000 islands, by far the most in the world.